a problem since all participants are not visible. So, but anyway, we need to archive it for the project. And another point is, before I start my presentation, is that the goal today is to be as interactive as possible. Obviously, the webinar format poses some limit, but we would like to know a bit better the participant. So we have some questions that will pop up during the webinar. And I think that we can already start with the first one, because we would like to understand how do you feel and how do you approach new technologies. So this is the first question. So is about how you feel about new technologies, because as the speakers will also discuss later, the point is also about the threats that the wrong use of new technologies can bring for workers, especially, but in our view can be a great opportunity. Very shortly, I will present a few key points about the project. So let me show you. I hope you see the presentation. So today's event is part of the RECENTRE project. I also already inform you that there will be a second session on the 25th of June, also on the topic of social impact of the new technologies. And today we will see several interesting speech, but I will introduce them one by one. Just a few words about the speakers. So, for example, in my case, I am the manager of the innovation department in T2I, that is the lead partner in the RECENTRE project. We will have as a speaker Manuel Paseggio, which is an innovation designer in Upskill 4.0, that is a university spin-off that does very interesting things that he will present later on. We have the pleasure to have Ugo Bott, that is the founder of Future of Work Lab, that helps companies to adopt technology innovation, and helps how to implement these technologies in a way that amplify the capacity, the skills of the workers, and not in a way that replace them, let's say. And last but not least, we have the Ulf Oberbirke. I hope that I pronounced it not too wrongly. That will speak about UX and human-machine interface. That is a topic very important because we always remind that from the user perspective, the interface is basically the system. So having a very efficient, usable system is important to have a system that really helps the user, the worker, and not focuses only on its own processes. Basically, a few key points about the RECENTRE project. So, as I mentioned, the goal is about supporting the vision, the European vision of Industries 5.0. it focuses on the alpine space area, but this is a very wide area that impacts a very large part of Europe because, as you can see, the partners cover a very wide range of countries from Italy to Slovenia to Austria to Germany, France, and so on. Just a small point, a small but important point, is what impact this Recente does for the companies. So, on one side, we're carrying out several information activities, so webinars like this one. But in the end, we plan to have a very concrete and actual impact on the companies. So for each region, the 20 companies will be selected to develop so-called transition plans. So that means some plans that help a company to imagine and plan their future in a world that uses digital technologies to be more sustainable and to be more socially sustainable. And then after the step will be to select 5 of these 20 transition plan to develop pilot action, to start an implementation, and in order to be able to test these technologies. So why we talk about Industry 5.0, sustainability and social innovation? Why is this strategic also from a European point of view? The point is that if you look at manufacturing now, there is a need also of develop again some manufacturing capabilities that were moved away in the past few years because also of several macroeconomic factors, general elements that are outside of our control and so on. But if you wanted to manufacture in Europe, but especially in the alpine space area, obviously you need to focus on a manufacturing that needs to be efficient, and this is why is needed to talk about the new technologies, so Industry 5.0, artificial intelligence, and so on. But it needs obviously also to be a manufacturing that is compatible with the environment, because you cannot start a new manufacturing process now if it has negative impacts on the environment. So this is why the digital technologies need to be used to be more sustainable from the environmental point of view. But this is not enough, because you need also to have the workers to work in your company, and so you need to offer a good quality of work. Otherwise, it's very difficult to find people to do a job, and this is something that is very real in many countries. And also a worker that is working well is also much more productive. And so this is why only for looking at the economical point of view, it makes sense to focus on new technologies, environment, and social sustainability. Besides the economic point of view, there are lots of ethical point of view, but I think that if it is convenient to be more sustainable, I think that this is a good reason enough without having to think what each of of us would like from the ethical perspective. As I already mentioned, there will be another webinar that will focus especially on the well-being of the workers on the 25th of June. But another point to stay in touch with the project is also to fill in this survey. You will also receive a link to the survey in the follow-up email that you will receive. This is a survey that is meant to collect the needs and the design and the difficulties of the companies, because the goal of the project is not just to start and implement action without considering the needs, the actual needs of the company, that instead are the real starting point. So any feedback is very important, also because we will also share some action plans also with the regional governments, and obviously in this case any type of feedback that you will provide will be considered for these documents. So this is something that is a small step, but I think it very useful to start also interact and also to express your needs to the policymakers that not always are aware of what workers and SMEs need. Okay, thank you for filling up the survey and for being here today. And I will give the floor to Manuel Baseggio of Upskill 4.0. So thank you, Manuel.
Thank you, Marco. I now will share the screen. Okay.
In the meanwhile, maybe we can already start with the second question while Manuel is starting his presentation, and then we discuss all your answer in the end. But Manuel, go on.
Yeah. Can you see my screen? Okay.
Yes.
So, good morning to everyone. I am Manuel. My name is Manuel Baseggio, and I work as innovation designer at Upskill 4.0. Upskill 4.0 is a benefit corporation, and since 2019, when it was founded as a spin-off of Ca' Foscari University of Venice, we have been designing and implementing innovation services that aim to improve not only businesses, but also people and the communities they live in. So our approach is deeply human-centered. We believe that innovation works best when it starts with people, and so our core is to pursue innovation with the design thinking methodology. And over the years, we have collaborated with more than 130 companies, involved over 400 students, and activated projects in all over Italy, from Venice to Cagliari and from Milan to Palermo. We have carried out different kinds of innovation projects focusing on technology, production, communications, and marketing, always supported by a network of founding bodies and the local partners. And what ties everything together is the desire to create value by mixing and by exploring different perspective of what is the best solution for a challenge to solve. And today I want to share with you what brings together young people, young workers, technology, and in this case, generative artificial intelligence for the future of companies, and especially how young workers, young people can approach to it in the best way. So I will start with this table. We have seen the last few years that Gen AI is gaining momentum across several business functions. In particular, these data are from 2023, and we can see that on that year, the impact has been strongest in the marketing, business, product development, and service operations function. These kind of data are evolving, and so I will show to you the data, the same data from the 2024, and we can see that the same business functions that I mentioned earlier and new business functions that, for example, IT, software engineering, and human resources are greatly impacted by artificial intelligence. Some business functions are not yet impacted by artificial intelligence, like strategic thinking and those kind of managing functions, and also manufacturing functions are not yet so much deeply concerned by artificial intelligence. What is the main lessons that we can learn to it? That skills required for young people are going to evolve in something else from what we usually are. We are developing as a career path, a typical career path. And I want to show you a study, a research by Harvard and BCG. In this experiment, consultants were asked to come up with a new product idea. Some group of these consultants were able to use generative artificial intelligence and some not. What stood out immediately is how much the less experienced consultant benefited from using the tool. Less experienced consultants have improved their skills, their performance by 43% in their scores, and they have surpassed the baseline, the initial baseline of more experienced consultants. This with the using of artificial intelligence tools that bring them to a new level of experience, and without the experience, without the experience in the years that the more senior consultants have. If we focus on a different kind of task, in this case, a problem-solving task, we can see a different result. In this case, generative AI doesn't help so much people in obtain a better outcome. So in tasks, in creativity tasks, we can see, as I mentioned before in the table, that generative AI is having a big impact. In more problem-solving tasks, like tasks that are usually belongs to manager positions, generative AI is not having that much impact. And this study is not the only one. There are several studies released in 2024 that are telling us that low-skilled workers, so usually the younger workers are gaining much productivity with artificial intelligence tools. But this comes with a question. What kind of jobs will be automated more by artificial intelligence in the next years? Entry-level employees are the most exposed to automation from artificial intelligence. So, as a consequence, younger workers, young professionals have to rethink the path of their career, because it will be more probable that they will be first-line manager in a shorter time than in the previous years. So this is important data that we have to think about, and this is a question that we are discussed here in Upskill, and it was how can we design an acceleration pathway that can help young people and companies in the same time to gain productivity and to stay up to the frontier of technology, and how can we adapt to this new scenario with the career path for young professionals will be different. We last year in 2024 we held an event at the Ca' Foscari University of Venice that we called Straight to Business. In this format event, we provided an opportunity to bring together the skills, the energy of university students with those of managers from different kind of enterprises and companies seeking innovative solutions based on Gen AI. The architecture of the event was based on a workshop based on tech topics prior to the event, that aimed to prepare students and companies to the impact of artificial intelligence in business process. And then we develop custom solutions with these companies, starting from some identified use cases. And then in the 2 days event, we bring these companies together with the students and with the developers to find an innovative approach to implement these use cases, to implement new kind of way of thinking about how artificial intelligence can help us, can help people to improve their skills and so on. What we learn on this event is that AI can be implemented only through experimentation that combines together different kind of skills, the skills of young people that are more digital native, and the skills from much more senior managers that have the experience of the business process. And so we found that building a community to face this transition together is the best way to evolve to this new kind of business functions model that will be developed in the next few years due to the innovation, due to the impact of artificial intelligence in our business processes. So communicate, build a community together, talk, do a sort of bond between older generations and younger generations is the best way to listening to each other and to develop this kind of new path for young professionals to become more productive, to become more relevant in this new era where artificial intelligence will work with us as a co-pilot of our activities in our businesses. Thank you.
Thank you very much for your presentation. I think that Upskill 4.0 is a very interesting approach, the best practice on how to involve young people and new technologies and innovation, because I mean, we all know that it's not easy to bring actual innovation in the companies, because this is something that is challenging, because there is a cultural barrier that needs to be overcome. And many times young people help to bring new ideas, new way to see the world, and this is something that is very important. And also, I think from my experience and what I've seen in several regions, it's not always easy to put in touch the universities with the companies and have an organization such as Upskill 4.0 that is a company, but it's a spin-off of the university, is something that is very valuable in our experience. And yeah, so if any of the participants has any question, they can you can make some question using the question and answer function in Zoom. And yeah, so we will go on. I'd say that we can present the third question. And while the result of all the question we will show you at the end, so we can also help the conclusion and help the question session, so we can make some discussion about this. So in the meanwhile, when we started the last question, I will give the floor to Ugo Bott, that has a very multinational experience, because he worked in several countries, and I think that is a very interesting point of view. Ugo, please.
Thank you very much, Marco. And can you guys see my screen?
Yes, thank you.
Okay, excellent. So first of all, a disclaimer, I'm not a robot, but actually I come from the core of the Alpine region. I come from Friuli Venezia Giulia, hence my last name, Bott. However, life has kind of shaped an interesting fate for me, because at this stage, I'm developing bots and AI agents as a self-taught person. And I'm here to share with you the experience as a company, as a person I had in facing AI, both in terms of the technical difficulties or the technical challenges, but also in terms of career prospects and how we see the future of work and our career trajectory is changing. So I think a very concrete starting point is to look at the gap. Manuel was briefly mentioning it earlier on. There is right now, as we speak.
Ugo, sorry, because currently we are seeing your desktop. I don't know if you are sharing a presentation.
Yeah, probably I shared the wrong desktop. Sorry, just a second.
No, don't worry.
There you go. Do you see it now?
Yeah, yes, exactly. Thank you very much.
Thanks to you. Thank you for the heads up. I always do that. So the first thing that I want to point your attention to is the gap that is currently taking shape between people that are using AI and people that are not using AI. And it's a gap that unfortunately is growing at an exponential pace, because the performance of technologies are growing exponentially. It means that they're getting better and better in shorter and shorter times. The gap has two components. One is in terms of productivity, and Manuel was touching upon it. According to a PwC report that just came out, when it comes to, say, coders using AI assistants, we're talking about a gain of 4 times the productivity of a person that doesn't use AI. But the flip side of it is that if I'm becoming more productive, I'm actually earning more money. And so there is a minority of people that are the people who are jumping on the AI wagon, who are actually seeing their salaries and their sort of portion of the profits coming from the company that goes to them, and so makes them at a much better place than the people who are not using AI. So all this, in spite of the fact that number one, AI is getting cheaper and cheaper, and number two, there is a growth of no-code tools. All right. So the question maybe that we have to ask ourselves is, what is right now preventing us from trying experimenting AI when actually, differently from previous technologies, it's right there, it's available to us, okay? And let me give you a very concrete path to get started with these things, all right? Because I can tell you also that we go into companies, and companies look at all sorts of very complex workflows where AI, they think, might make the difference for their company. And then we're asking them, have you ever tried AI? No, we haven't. All right. So my first recommendation to you is buy a subscription right away to either ChatGPT or Claude. You pay 20 euros per month, the best investment you will have ever done, at least for this year. And then don't necessarily think that you have to go to university to enroll in an expensive course to learn AI. Just go on YouTube. Spend 1 hour on YouTube and try to learn how to prompt, how to load your specific knowledge into an AI agent, and how you can connect it to the apps that you routinely use. And then once you have watched your videos, start tinkering with that, apply it. And there is this interesting term that was created, invented by Karpati, who is one of the co-founders of OpenAI, which is vibe coding. And vibe coding is the capacity that we have now been granted with of coding an app, coding a program, just by telling an AI agent what we want to build through natural language, exactly like we would interact with ChatGPT. So my first recommendation to all of us is, if we want to kind of jump on the upper part of the exponential curve, as opposed to going into the lower part of the lower curve, let's start doing this, all right? Now, why is this important? This is also important because there are more and more companies that are not only human companies, but are human and AI companies. This means that there are workflows inside the company, processes that are managed at the same time by AI agents and humans working together. So if you want to be long-lived in a company, you absolutely need to be able to interact and get the best out of these AI agents. All right. Now, Manuel, again, was briefly mentioning this, the impact of AI on the workforce. You might learn AI, and yet we all might learn AI, and yet in the near future, face unemployment because there are these AI agents that are capable of doing better, faster, for cheaper stuff that we currently as humans are doing. Now, what maybe we have to start reflecting on this time as a society is that when we start having unemployment going up from 4 or 5% to 20% or 15%, but what we're effectively facing is a social crisis with then the obvious consequences in terms of the rise of populist agendas and populist narratives that risk breaking apart our societies. So maybe a second message that we need to get out of this AI era is that we need to work together to reinvent our economies and to consider the adverse impact that AI might have into society to find some measures, okay, some ways of improving our well-being together. And in this sense, I also want to propose a trajectory, an alternative to the current economy. We all have to start thinking that if we want to work, it's not only that we have to necessarily work in a corporate, in a corporation, in a small and medium enterprise. We could become what some people call micropreneurs, what some people call solopreneurs. So basically, we could turn AI to our advantage. Not only AI could replace us, but AI could help us do stuff that up to maybe 2-3 years ago could be done just by 3, 4, 5, 10 people together. And so the people that you saw working together earlier on in the same company, all of a sudden might find themselves working as creators or solopreneurs. You probably heard the term temporary manager. More and more we hear about the fractional CFOs. I hear here that now there are a lot of HR people. You might find yourself working as an HR person for different companies. But effectively, you're doing that on your own with the support of 4 or 5 agents, each one of them taking care of the operations of one of the companies you're working for. And so all of a sudden, we are seeing the economy that shifts. We're seeing an economy that here in Veneto we are very familiar with, which is the economy of the micropreneurs, of the artisans that amplify their work, their impact through the use of agents. And it's not by coincidence that Sam Altman is saying we have a chat among friends and we are always betting on when we're going to see the first person will become a billionaire just by running a solo company. All right, we're there here, guys. We are there. We can do it now. Okay. So if that's the path that you want to pursue, maybe you might want to explore more sophisticated ways of looking at AI. And so going beyond the ChatGPT and going beyond Claude, you could explore no-code AI agents platforms where you can literally create your next AI employee. And NA10 is one of them. Flowwise, it's another amazing platform. And these are all very simple to use tools where you can create AI agents, then do and know whatever you want. Okay? Is it easy to really master them thoroughly? Not really. Can you do it? Yes. How? YouTube videos and practice, 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 practice. Okay? Great. Now, then the question is, okay, I have ChatGPT, I have Claude, we have it in the company, but how many times have you find yourself sitting in front of ChatGPT and not knowing what to ask it? Okay? And that's where we come back to rehabilitate our central role as human beings. So what you will be facing inside the company right now is not only the question, do you use AI? But is the question, how can we change our workflows, our HI workflows, our marketing workflows from being maybe digitalized to being AI powered? And that's where imagination, the capacity of connecting the dots makes a difference. All right? So again, the question is, do you have imagination? If you think that you don't have imagination, which is a very likely scenario because all of us, we have been a little bit, we have unlearned to imagine because we have been part of an education system that have taught us just to follow the rules. So if you want to improve your imagination, try to do things that you have never done before. Be curious and explore new stuff, okay? And that brings us to the new way of learning. It's not that now because you have to, you want to learn AI that you need to enroll into an expensive university course on AI or an online course. There are much more powerful and accessible ways of learning this, which is, again, videos online or communities. The bottom line is, given the incredible pace of change that we're going through, we'll have to put ourselves in a situation where we work to learn. We don't learn to work. We don't go to school to get the diploma and then be ready for something. Every day we have to learn something new, all right? And so then if the change, the rapid change is what we're gonna face continuously, if our career is gonna be disrupted because we're gonna lose the job maybe in 1 month, 2 months, and then we're gonna start our company and then it's gonna go well for a while and then it's gonna turn apart and then, so we have to start over again. Then the question is, how do we keep the direction? And the keep the direction is to ask yourself, what is my mission? Why am I doing what I'm doing? And this is deep. This has deeply to do with who you are as a person, with your experiences. But the important thing is that you identify your Northern Star to then decide based on your skills, based on your experience, based on your values, how do you start over, okay? How do I connect to the peers and communities that on one side get me to the next opportunities because we have the same values, and on the other side help me learn because together we learn much faster than on our own. And so to conclude, I would say, first of all, think like a futurist, which means don't look at the impact that a technology might have based on what you see today, but always keep in mind the exponential curve. And so imagine that in this point in time is the slowest pace of development of that technology. And given the fact that are improving day by day, probably in 6 months from now, the reality you're going to face is completely different from what you're experiencing right now. And second, you have to start working with AI right away. Finally, third, imagination, imagination, imagination. That's it.
Thank you very, very much. I think that it was a very, very interesting speech, lots of inputs and topics on which I think each of us should think about because, I mean, we fully share the vision that Ugo about presented because we strongly agree that learning is something that is continuous, that is not something that is made in the traditional sense anymore, but it is something that is not like this from several years. So it's not like you study at school and then you are prepared to do everything in the rest of your life. You always need to learn new things. Obviously, this is a challenge because now there is artificial intelligence. Maybe in 5 or 10 years, there will be some new technologies that we will need to learn that will have an impact. The challenge is also that all new technologies are every day faster in their implementation in the real world. know the numbers also of the subscribers and the users of ChatGPT that were booming in just a few weeks since the service was launched. So you cannot lose months or even years to explore these technologies because many people are starting to use them and to learn them, and you need to also compete with the other people on the market. But it is important what I think what Ugo said, that each of us should find our northern star to understand what kind of impact we wanted to have, or what kind of approach in our job we wanted to have, because we can understand that so many technologies can be overwhelming from a point of view because they have many changes, and if you lose your orientation, you get lost. So having a Northern Star is something that is very, very important. Okay, so thank you. I will now give the floor to Mr. Ulf Robert Bittler, and that will talk about the human skill for digital industries and how to make machine work for people, not the other way around. Thank you. You can share your screen if you need it.
Yes, thank you very much. Thank you very much. Just I hope you see my screen now.
Yes.
So, first, my name is Ulf Oberbichler, and I thank you very much that I can speak today. My approach maybe is a little bit different than my four speakers come from. AlphaGate is a company which makes human-machine interfaces, and this means human production machine interfaces. And we are really on the shop floor and everything there where production, where products are made, physical products are made at the moment. Yes, AlphaGate was founded in 1999, so we are almost 26 years old, so far away from a startup. So I want to talk a little bit today, making machines work for people, or in another way, how can machines behave like co-workers? First, in my speech, I want to talk a little bit about the challenges in the production industry and how we can face these challenges with some methods. And second, with technology, which we interpret very meaningful. And at least I come back to the skill set, which is, for my opinion, necessary in the future of the industry. Yes, getting started. One of the challenges, and I guess one of the big challenges, is that machines steadily get more complex. This means machines have to produce faster. Machines have to produce with a better quality. Of course, possible reducing the energy consumption and so on and so on. But usually that means that the operators have to handle more information. And this combined with the peoples, and we see it all over the world, are less prepared in their first education. And the training times is very, very cost intensive, and nobody wants to invest this cost because during production it is nearly impossible to train people. And so people get less educated, and combined with some cultural gaps we have, if we focus all the world, these things don't make things easier. So what can we do? We have a subset of methodic how we can face these things. This first thing, of course, we in Europe are very, very strong in making such normatives, how we can follow how we can a guideline to follow. But one of the first things they are really, really powerful is involve users very, very early in all the processes through observation, through interviews, through prototyping, and then talk back and testing and start these things again. But only then it is very, very useful if you focus on the tasks, the context, and the goals, not stuff like screens or buttons or whatever in this way. And all the principles that working across all cultures are reduction. Reduce everything what is not needed. They need the right information at the right time. People on the shop floor don't need any information. They just need the right information at the right time. We at AlphaGate, we are thinking that biophilic patterns are really, really good to calm people down, to reduce the stress level and so on. And that we can make adaptive interfaces where people who are very experienced get other information than people who are trainees or just in the beginning of their career at the machine. Yes, and we have the contextual support to not to ignore, not as add-ons, but to reduce cognitive load of the people inside. Inclusion by design. This is at the moment not mandatory for industry, obligatory for industry, but I guess in future we will focus that more. This is the use of icons, visual language adjustments, interfaces. They should not assume prior knowledge that people can get used to do that job. And yeah, for low threshold access, we have to put barrier-free. We call it barrier-free things there also on the displays. People on the machine can use. So we're going to the second thing. This is technology. We created a word. It's called response dense design. This is a made-up word with two meanings. First meaning is that we make responsive design what makes sense, and the second meaning is using for all senses, and this comes together with the providing from right content at the right time in the right format. I guess in future we will see more voice in and outputs even in industries, and this is what I say it's very, very important for the future of production. Yes, based on task phases or roles and system state, of course. Like a good teacher, not information all at once. We have to put the information and automatically the information when the information is needed. This is the key thing. And then put the best practices from many domains together. By just very good ideas across domains, we expand whatever is possible for the use of people. And AI, we heard a lot of AI in the past, but AI has come to stay even at the machine. But as I mentioned, AI is not just what people playing around with ChatGPT. This has to be automated things. If an error occurs at the machine, the AI system is behind should give the knowledge the users in front of the machine the situation, what is to do now, what he has to check now, what is being to calibrate or whatever in this situation. So AI can help in terms of prediction, in terms of error handling, and in terms of task suggesting what has to be done next, what has the other people done in that situation you have at the moment. But people have to trust. Of course, this is at the moment a thing that we have when we earn money, at least, that we have to understand a little bit what the system is doing or what the system is not doing. Yeah, but AI should, and if we do our work right, we should amplify human skills, and we are not thinking of replace them. And the second big theme is the augmented reality, we think, because of not only in terms of training, but also in terms of training. If you have some glasses, for example, with mixed reality or like the HoloLens, we already implemented such things and really guide the workflows people learn while doing the job and without breaking or without decelerate the production in a way. And in future, we will get more devices, and these devices, if we avoid the mistakes, such like tech first thinking, if we make useful understanding, useful implementing of this technology things, we can get really boost our output in that way. So what skills do we need for the future? Digital literacy, I think, is already done because of the digital natives. So we have not a problem in that way in the future. But the system thinking, I get, is very important. Understanding what the digital system is doing, even without coding, even without no code, whatever ChatGPT. I think how works all these systems together. The ability to navigate, search, impact, interpret data, and so on and so on. The AI awareness, I guess. Not everybody needs to develop an algorithm, of course not. But knowing what AI can and cannot do is a new basic skill, we guess, in this situation. I think that we get much more soft skills in the digital workspace because of communication in hybrid teams. We already know in the office area, yeah. But troubleshooting, collaborative problem solving with digital twins will be a little bit tricky for the workers on site. Maybe the empathy and the patience to teach, and on the other hand, to learn, and continuous learning. We also task, Ugo also talked about this continuous learning, but if it comes to the shop floor, I think it gets completely different aspects. Of course, we all know that we are never ready with learning. But yeah, on the shop floor, this means a little bit different things, I guess. Yeah, we need systems that teach while being used. This is one of the topics we are working on, and I think this is a great topic for the industry. Yes, that's my speech. Very short and very high above the shop floor. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Very interesting. And in our experience, the topic of user experience and human-machine interaction is not always considered as it should, because in our approach, it is the key focus. We work on a user-centered design approach since, well, since 20 years now. And just a few examples. For example, we worked with a company that he designed the user interface. The interface of the control panel was able to reduce by nearly half the phone calls to the assistants. So this is something that allows to be much more efficient. And also thanks for having mentioned also augmented reality, because this is something that if used in the right way can help very much in many tasks, because it allows you to work remotely. For example, we have another project in which a company developed a remote augmented reality tool for the technical experts, so they didn't need to move to go to abroad and maybe have a long hours of travels to carry on. And so this is something very interesting. And I think that the things that you said about working on purpose first and not on technology first is very important. And this is something that should be reminded not only by, let's say, professional developers and designers, but also in when we play, for example, with artificial intelligence and tools and so on, because it is not so unlikely that maybe you design an agent and then you leave it for some weeks, and in the meantime you forget it, and then you have to learn it yourself. So if you respect these design approaches, is something that is valid not only when about, let's say, professional designing, but which is mandatory in our experience. And so thank you very much for your input. Okay, so I'd say that to start, if some participant have any question, you can use the question and answer function in Zoom. But as a starting point, I'd say if Diego, if you can share the answer to the first question so that we can see what our participant answered, and ask a comment. So the first question was about we were asking if you feel more worried and excited. I'm very glad to see that there is no one that is mostly worried, because this is something that is quite promising. We've seen an exactly half and half between full excitement, but also the other half is curious, but also concerned. So I don't know if any one of our speakers wanted to um, comment on this. Maybe I don't know if maybe Ugo, if you have a comment about the curiosity and the risks.
Yeah, actually, Marco, I share your excitement, and I share the excitement of the 56% of voters. But we have to remind ourselves that we should be all very worried about what's coming, because the work revolution is here. And the work revolution in the far future will probably result in a completely different way of living, where we'll finally be freed from the need of working on a factory floor, because robots will do this for us. We'll have the privilege for people who work in European countries to probably benefit from some basic income. which will be funded by companies that will rely mainly on robots. And that's all good, but this is not going to come tomorrow. This is going to be a long transition, and we're entering this transition right now. And so I think that it's our collective responsibility not only to work at the bottom line of the companies we're part of, but also imagine, anticipate the adverse scenarios and see how companies, governments, and civil society can work together to create the social safety net that would allow everyone to benefit from this revolution and not be disrupted from it.
Thank you very much. And I would ask also to Mr. Wolf Oberblicker, because in our experience, artificial intelligence is missing one of the principle of the best practice in the user experience. That means that it doesn't allow usually the user to fully understand what it is doing. That being transparent in what the system is doing is usually one of the best practice that should be adopted. And so I don't know if you have any comment, any suggestion on how this could be addressed in the future, and if can help to adopt better the technologies, the new technologies.
Sure. I guess principally it's not necessary to understand the system completely, but it's very, very helpful to know the limits of the systems. So, and what I think is that we need human in future anyway, and we have to combine technique and humans and make, let's put it like this, better humans, something like that, huh? Not superhumans. I don't think in brain implantation, something like that. But yeah, I think augmentation and so on, helpful systems.
Okay, thank you, Manuel. A comment also from you on this question, if you have some words.
Yeah, of course. I feel a mix of excitement and also to a worry. A worry that is not the fear of some kind of AI, an evil AI, or those kinds of things, but an AI that is the piece of innovation of AI is faster for me than the piece at we are adapting to it. So for me, is essential to just to slow the rate of innovation a little bit in order to either think ourselves what we can do with this AI, where exactly we can insert it on our business processes, and how it impact the also the people involved in this revolution. Because it's also essential to keep to the human in the loop is a term that is now part of this artificial intelligence world. That is, we have to think about where the humans as to stay and to keep the keys of what these tools are doing.
Thank you very much. So let's see. Second question. Let's see what our participant answered. If we're able to share it. Okay, let's see if we can share the results of the second question, maybe. Just some assessment. Okay, so the second question was about the impact of advanced technology in support the green sustainability initiatives. And yeah, this is a key point because this is an assumption by also the European policies and that new technologies should be able and used to support green and social sustainability approach. We can see that is the idea of the most participants is that this is possible. There are a few that are more skeptical. And yeah, I'd ask Manuel if in some of the projects that Upskill 4.0 carried out, that there are any elements that should be considered to avoid a negative impact of new technologies in your experience.
Yeah, of course. Well, sustainability in this, especially in advanced technologies, I want to focus now on ambient impact on sustainability. Well, artificial intelligence, for example, as what I see now, is a technology that could improve discoveries, scientific discoveries for example, climate change and so on. So this kind of tool can help in these fields. But at the same time, what I see is that for everyday use, we have to balance, we have to go deeper and understand if all the tools that we are going to automate in our projects and so on have a deeper impact on the environment due to the resources that I have to request to the data centers, for example, that are high power consuming and also high water consuming, if the balance is positive or not. And this is a kind of discussion that we are working with. Also, we are working on a product now with companies that want to bring in their business functions artificial intelligence, but it is also a company that has a strong commitment with the sustainability and so on. So there is an important evaluation to do in order to see what are the benefits of these technologies, but also the impact that it has to the environment. And AI has a strong impact on an environment, as for what I know. Surely, in the coming years, these models are becoming more efficient, and also the chips will be more energy saving. But for now, AI is very power consuming. So that's it.
Thank you very much. I don't know if maybe Ugo wants to say a few words.
Yes, maybe something highlighting the particular role of Europe in this sense, because if we look at sustainability and AI from a geopolitical perspective, right now the race is being led by the AI race is being led by the US and China. And definitely their priority is to get first to the finish line in order to get global geopolitical supremacy. So I guess that the sustainability issue get swept under the carpet. And this kind of particular historical era places a much higher responsibility on us, on Europe, to uphold sustainability as a standard and to present as lighthouses, as best practices, the projects that combine the benefits of AI with the imperatives of sustainability.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Mr. Oberbichler, I don't know if you have also some a few words that you want to comment.
Yeah, I think first of all, AI is not only ChatGPT or something like something LLMs. This is much more, and I'm absolutely sure whatever America or China are supposed to do, we can use the technique to get big steps in the direction of sustainability, green, and so on and so on and so on, and carbon reduction. I'm absolutely sure that this will be positive.
Thank you very much. Let's see if we can share the last question answer so that we can comment on this. And so the question was about the status of implementation of new technologies. Clearly, this was quite a broad question because we did not ask which technology, because this might have a different level. But I say that it's quite interesting that even if in the early stage, many of the participant companies have already are starting to implement the technology. So I'd say that they are at least trying to join the group of users of advanced users that was mentioning Ugo in his presentation, and that is valid both from a single worker perspective, but it's valid also from a company perspective, because this, especially for a small company in Italy, I think that what Ugo said about the difference between the companies that use the workers, the people that are using the artificial intelligence, and the people that are not using them is valid also for companies that are using advanced technologies and the ones that are not doing it. I don't know if any of you have any comment on this, just maybe a few words. I will start from Ugo since I mentioned him.
Yes, well, it's encouraging to see that there are a majority of people that have at least started. And I just want to highlight, and probably this is the experience of all of us here and all those who have already started. It's painful. It's very painful, because it's like starting to ride a bike for the first time and falling over and over and over again. And so I think that the key here is to be very intentional in looking how, as people, as professionals, we face these challenges, these innovation challenges, and see the benefit of stepping out of our comfort zone and mastering both the intellectual challenge that AI innovation involves, but also the emotional aspects. Oftentimes, the barrier is just the fear that starting a new thing involves. So get out of the comfort zone, stay out, and deal with the pain, unfortunately.
Yeah. Thank you very much. Mr. Abelbichler, if you have also some comment, just a few words on this.
It's really cool that much people already started with the techniques. Yeah, they also can only can go along with Ugo. Yeah, it is very painful, or it could be very painful.
Thank you very much. So, Manuel, just a small comment, just to.
Yeah, I agree with them. This kind of innovation it brings to also some painful moments. For example, there are different kinds of mindset of people that you have to work with, and also there are different approaches that people are thinking about how can I implement artificial intelligence, because there are no clear frameworks on how to do it.
Yeah,
Can I just add one thing to
yes.
Manuel was saying, to what all of us are saying, because the flip side of it, I understand there are a lot of HR people here. I would say, as Manuel is saying, like what makes the difference is the mindset of a team, and so hire for grit, hire for resilience, even more so than technical skills, because technical skills you can learn them, but a personality that is a continuous learner that faces up and raises up to the challenge is very difficult to find.
Yeah, you're right. Thank you very much for this note that is very, very important. Okay, so thanks for to all the speakers for this the very, very interesting speech. I hope that the participant found it interesting as I did. As I mentioned, there will be another webinar on the well-being of the workers' well-being on the 25th of June. But most importantly, you will receive a follow-up email in the next few days with the link also for the seminar, for the questionnaire that I presented early on. And most importantly, if any of you has any question on or would like to get in touch with the speakers, please inform us so that we can create the contact or help you and try to answer your question and curiosity. And so again, thank you very much, everybody. I think that we are perfectly in time, and that this is something that is quite strange, but we are trying to to make it more as an habit, because sometimes we know that the schedule, everybody's schedule is quite tight. But again, thank you very much for being here, and you will receive a follow-up email, and yeah, stay curious, as Steve Jobs would have said, but because about new technologies, it is the key element, because it is something that we need always to learn every day. Thank you again, and see you on the next time.
Thank you, Marco. Bye-bye. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye.